The year 2019 marked a monumental shift in the landscape of Japanese live-action adaptations with the release of Kingdom, a cinematic odyssey directed by Shinsuke Sato. This film does not merely attempt to translate the panels of Yasuhisa Hara's legendary manga into moving images. Rather, it breathes a ferocious, blood-pumping life into the dust and dreams of ancient China. Set during the chaotic Warring States period, the story serves as a visceral reminder that the grandest empires are often built upon the smallest, most desperate desires of the forgotten. The narrative foundation of Kingdom is rooted in the shared destiny of two orphan slaves, Shin and Piao. Their existence is one of relentless labor and social invisibility, yet they spend every spare moment engaged in wooden sword duels, honing a craft they hope will one day elevate them to the status of great generals of the heavens. This opening act is crucial because it establishes the emotional core of the entire two-hour spectacle. When Piao is scouted by a high-ranking official to serve in the royal palace, the two friends are separated by the whim of fate, only for Piao to return to Shin's side on the brink of death. The realization that Piao was used as a body double for the young king Ying-jung adds a layer of political cruelty to the personal tragedy, transforming Shin's grief into a volatile, unrefined rage that drives the plot forward across the scorched earth of the Middle Kingdom. As Shin encounters the exiled king Ying-jung, the film shifts from a story of personal loss into an epic quest for reunification. Ying-jung is portrayed with a chilling, regal stoicism that contrasts sharply with Shin's explosive, street fighter energy. While Shin fights for the memory of his brother and the glory of battle, Ying-jung fights for a philosophical ideal: the end of centuries of bloodshed through the total unification of China under a single rule of law. Their partnership is the engine of the film, a friction-filled alliance between a boy who has nothing but his sword and a man who has everything to lose but his vision. The chemistry between Kento Yamazaki and Ryo Yoshizawa brings a gravitas to these roles that transcends the typical tropes of shonen storytelling, making the stakes feel heavy and the costs of their journey feel painfully real. The visual language of Kingdom is nothing short of breathtaking, as Shinsuke Sato utilizes sweeping aerial shots and meticulously designed sets to capture the scale of the Qin capital. Unlike many adaptations that struggle with the uncanny valley of anime to film transitions, Kingdom leans into a gritty, tactile realism. The costumes are weathered, the armor looks heavy and functional, and the environments feel lived in. When the story takes our protagonists into the territories of the mountain people, the film introduces a sense of primal wonder. The introduction of Yo Tan-hwa, the Mountain Queen, is a standout sequence that highlights the film's ability to balance high fantasy aesthetics with grounded action. The alliance formed here is not just a military necessity but a collision of cultures, illustrating the film's theme that borders are often mental constructs that can be shattered by a shared purpose. Action choreography in Kingdom serves as a masterclass in kinetic storytelling. The battles are not merely spectacles of CGI. They are character-driven encounters where every swing of the blade carries weight. Shin's fighting style is unrefined and desperate, relying on raw instinct and the sheer momentum of his heavy sword, which serves as a physical manifestation of Piao's legacy. In contrast, the adversaries they face, such as the monstrous executioner or the elegant but deadly assassins, provide a variety of tactical challenges that keep the pacing taut. The final assault on the capital is a prolonged, multi-stage siege that manages to maintain its emotional intimacy even as hundreds of extras clash in the background. It is a symphony of steel and shouting that culminates in a confrontation that tests the resolve of every character involved. The presence of General Uki, played with haunting charisma by Takao Osawa, adds a mythical dimension to the proceedings. Uki is a relic of an older era, a man who moves with a terrifying grace and speaks with a theatricality that suggests he sees the world as a grand stage. He represents the great general ideal that Shin aspires to, but he also serves as a gatekeeper and a mentor who challenges Shin to look beyond simple vengeance. Every scene featuring Uki feels like it is leaning into the epic traditions of historical drama, providing a sense of continuity between the small-scale skirmishes of the present and the legendary wars of the past. His laughter and his massive glaive become symbols of the heights that Shin must one day reach if he is to truly change the world. Beyond the swordplay and political maneuvering, Kingdom explores the heavy psychological toll of leadership and the burden of history. Ying-jung's path is lonely, marked by the betrayal of his own brother and the constant threat of assassination. The film does not shy away from the moral complexities of his goal. To create a world of peace, he must first wage a war of unprecedented scale. This duality is reflected in the cinematography, which often juxtaposes the golden, claustrophobic luxury of the palace with the vast, unforgiving beauty of the natural world. It reminds the viewer that while kings may sit on thrones, the earth itself is indifferent to their titles, and only those with the strongest will can leave a lasting mark upon it. The musical score by Yutaka Yamada acts as the final, essential layer of this cinematic tapestry. It is heroic without being cliché, utilizing orchestral swells and modern rhythmic elements to heighten the tension of the chase sequences and the sorrow of the quiet moments. The theme song by One OK Rock provides a contemporary edge that bridges the gap between the ancient setting and the modern audience, emphasizing that the themes of ambition and brotherhood are timeless. By the time the credits roll, the film has successfully established a world that feels both ancient and immediate, a place where the clatter of a wooden sword in a dusty village can eventually lead to the founding of an empire. Kingdom is a rare achievement in cinema because it respects the source material while standing firmly on its own feet as a piece of high-caliber filmmaking. It avoids the pitfall of being a mere greatest hits compilation of manga chapters, instead focusing on a cohesive emotional arc that satisfies both fans and newcomers. It is a story about the audacity of dreaming in a world designed to crush dreams, and it leaves the audience with the sense that this is only the beginning of a much larger, bloodier, and more beautiful journey. The film ends not with a final victory, but with a promise of more battles to come, more territories to unite, and a young boy's slow, painful transformation into a legend that will echo through the halls of history for 2,000 years.